Hey folks, today on Independent Authoring with Virginia McLean, we are going to talk about NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month. You may have heard of it. If you haven't heard of it, I suggest you check out the link posted below, www.nanowrimo.org. So, basically, the rules are, you agree to write 50,000 words in the 30 days of November. That is approximately 1,667 words per day. And when I say approximately, I mean exactly. Well, okay, actually, when you do it that way, you end up writing 50,010 words. But it's close enough. So, here's the deal. You sign up on the website showing below, www.nanowrimo.org. Create a little account for yourself, and there's a huge community of people who do this every year. It's people from all over the world. There are no restrictions on where you need to be from, or who you are, or what language you're writing in. None of it matters. People ask, if it's a contest, how do you win? Well, it's a contest against yourself, and you win by actually writing 50,000 words in the month of November. You can lie about it if you want to. There's a word counter on there that you're supposed to update daily. In the end, you have to copy and paste a 50,000 word document or longer into the website to verify your novel. I guess you could probably just copy that from somewhere else if you wanted to. I don't know why you would do that. The only person that you're fooling is yourself. If you win, there's some cool prizes, mostly discounts on software and stuff. It's a great way to only pay half price on Scrivener, and we can talk about why Scrivener is amazing in a different video. There's also cool swag. Don't know if you noticed this amazing cup, which, by the way, tells you that your coffee contains 2 servings of Vikings, which are approximately 110% of the recommended daily value. Just so that's clear. Also, there are sweaters and t-shirts and posters and notebooks and bags, and look, they've got a lot of stuff in the store. So, aside from all the cool things you can buy and the cool little certificate and some discounts that you can win, why on earth would anyone do this? Well, the answer is probably different for every single person. I signed up first in about 2007. Not actually about, that was precisely it. And I think I signed up maybe 2 days before the start of National Novel Writing Month. I heard about it from some friends online, and at the very last second decided I was going to do it. I didn't have a novel idea planned. I had many ideas, and I had started to write a couple of novels before in the past, but I'd always given up on them around the 20,000 word mark. So, for me, this was going to be huge. I was, for the first time, going to finish a novel. It was really exciting. I was working a full-time job. I was teaching middle school. I didn't really like teaching middle school. I was very, very busy trying not to suck at my job, and I didn't have a lot of free time. But I signed up to do this anyway. And it kind of saved my soul. And the reason is because I crammed writing into every tiny little break that I had in my day. The 5 minutes between classes, typing away at the keyboard. The lunch breaks I had, eating and typing at the same time. The time that I would spend between when I got home from work and when my then boyfriend got home from work, also all at the keyboard. I spent a whole lot of time at the keyboard, but I also continued to do all the other things that I normally did. I taught full-time. I still hung out with people. I did karate, which was a thing that I trained at, at least 3 nights a week back then. I did a lot of stuff, and I still managed to write 53,000 words that November. Of course, I didn't actually finish the book at that point. Turns out 53,000 words was just over half a book for me. So I had 53,000 words and a half a book, but that was so much closer than I had ever come to finishing a novel before that pushed me over the edge. And after November finished, I continued writing. My goal had been to write every day. I didn't quite get there, and I also certainly cut my word requirement down quite a bit. I was no longer shooting for 1,667 words a day. Instead, I was shooting for any words a day. If I could write 50, great. If I could write 1,000, wonderful. I did whatever I could. I still snuck it in there, and most days I wrote. By July, I had written over 100,000 words of novel, and I had completed the plot. Woohoo! So July of 2008 was the first time I ever finished the first draft of a novel. Ever. And before that, I sort of thought I could do it. I knew I wanted to do it. I'd started to do it before, but I'd never really pushed myself through. And I think part of that was because I wasn't really sure I could do it. And the other part of that is that life always got in the way. Oh yeah, I want to keep writing this novel, but I have a full-time job. Oh yeah, I want to keep writing this novel, but I'm done with my full-time job for the summer, but now I'm traveling. Or I'm done with this full-time job for the summer, but now I'm working another job so I can keep paying my rent. So I basically spent a lot of time wanting to write and not enough time writing. And NaNoWriMo was a tipping point for me. After that, I've participated in National Novel Writing Month every year since then, and have consequently written 5 first drafts of novels. Some of them will never be published, but the other 3 have a good shot. One of them, actually, is already published. Blade's Edge was my 2009 National Novel Writing Month novel, and in that year I decided to write 100,000 words in the month of November, and I did it, and it was crazy, and some of that first draft is some of the worst writing I've ever done. But you can revise 100,000 words that are not great. And I did, and I revised them a lot, and they are now very, very different words. In fact, most of the original words are gone, but Blade's Edge is now on bookshelves, and that's really exciting. So, National Novel Writing Month, I think, is a great breakthrough tool for anyone who has been meaning to write a full-length novel and has never done it. I also think it's a great tool for anyone who still writes. It's a great time to commit to writing for a month. I still use it, even though technically now my job is to write full-time. Last year was only the second time that I ever failed at doing National Novel Writing Month. The first time was in a month where I led a 2-week trip, had to organize my own wedding as well as host Thanksgiving, and I had the flu. That didn't work out very well. I got about 20,000 words written, and then, yeah, that was it. And last year, I was pushing to get Blade's Edge out the door for publication. I released it in January, and I had originally planned to release it in December. And my November was so crazy that I managed to still write about 20,000 words of a new project, but that was about it. And in the meantime, I was busy crazily getting Blade's Edge ready and didn't even manage to do that on time. Basically, the point is, the worst case scenario if you sign up for National Novel Writing Month is that you'll have written some words of a novel that you wouldn't have written otherwise. And the best case scenario is that you will have written 50,000 words of a novel and maybe even knocked out the entire plot. That's pretty good. It also does another thing that I think is really important, and that is it makes you shut up your inner editor. The person, the little voice in your head that sits there and looks over your shoulder and says, no, that's not good enough. That's not the right word for that. No. Go back, fix that. You can't move forward until you fix this word. That person has to be bound and gagged and tied and put in a closet. Only for November. That person's very useful later on. But they're not useful during a first draft. That little person needs to go away. So for your first draft, that person gets tied up and gagged, and you get some serious writing done. And anything goes in a first draft. First drafts are made to never be read by anyone other than you. So you write down your first draft, and crazy shit happens. Things that never were supposed to happen. Things that are ridiculous and wonderful and terrible all happen. And then you go through and you edit them later on. And the beautiful thing about this is you cannot edit a blank page. That's a quote from somewhere. I don't remember who said it, but it's true. You can't. There's nothing to fix. But if you write 50,000 words, even if they're the shittiest 50,000 words that have ever crossed a keyboard, you can make them better. That's it for this episode of Independent Authoring.